everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Aiden, Tell Me a Story. Today we have a special guest, one of my newest friends, Kathleen
Guerrero.
at Kat_K15. A proud Tejana, Kat embodies a rich blend of talents as an actress, singer, dancer, teacher, and activist. Her favorite quote, "For so long I've always wanted to be different, and now I realize I just need to be myself," by Divine Joy Randolph, drives her to make a lasting impact through her diverse acting endeavors. Currently, she's a fellow at INTAR, an organization dedicated to nurturing Latino voices in theater. One of her most recent projects, White Knuckles, just released a photo shoot. Here's some of her pictures. Okay, cute, cute, cute. Today we're going to be talking about all things acting, growing up Tejano, moving to New York, and everything under the Texas sun. Also, stay tuned because we're going to be posting some scary stories. She's such a great scary storyteller.
Story, yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it.
Oh my God, I love it.
Let's tell them how we met. So we met at INTAR. There was an open mic night. My friend Sophia took me. And that's where I met Kat. Kat was doing scary stories. And at first I didn't know she was Tejana, so I just thought she was great at telling scary stories. But then you said it in your thing. And I turned to, like, you said that you were from Texas
Yes.
while you were telling your scary
I was
stories.
like, what?
And I told Sophia, I was like, you didn't tell me she was from Texas. That just... Texans, they just get a bump up in my book. What can I say? That's how we are. This is my first time trying this version out where I have two cameras going. It's very
This is my first
different.
podcast.
This is your first. I'm so
know.
honored. So we met that day, and at the end, she was getting everybody was coming to Kat because her stories were really good and very scary. So I see why. And I was like, oh my God, I'm from Texas too. And she was like, we need to connect. And the next thing you know,
it took us
being in class together.
I hit you up once, and then I was like, oh my God, it was great meeting you.
Yeah, I hit you up afterwards.
You did?
I hit you up, and then you didn't, because you didn't have Instagram, or you don't get
Well,
on there
I don't
often.
get on it that much.
Which is fair.
It gives me anxiety. I can't.
That's fair. That's fair. That's
many
fair.
things.
But then
I messaged you, and I was like, hey, nice meeting you. We should grab drinks. We never really got drinks.
Yeah.
Then Christmas and all that stuff happened.
But we did find out that we both got into the Unit 52, which is an INTAR program.
Wait, did we find out there?
No, we found out before because we were messaging and you were like,
Yeah.
I'm going to be part of that. I was like, shut up, me too!
Yeah.
It was so
So we
exciting.
met each other there.
There's 4 Texans in the group, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's how we met. And then we instantly fell in love because Texas.
Yeah.
Truly, because of Texas.
Yes, literally.
And the cherry on top, I gave her a big red that I have stashed away.
You gave me a big red.
And Lucas.
You gave me a Lucas.
Yes.
Whoever this brand is, you got to sponsor us.
Twang.
Twang, please.
For real, though.
Until our teeth fall out.
Or we get a hole in our tongue. That's what my grandma always told me.
My mom would tell me my teeth would fall out.
Wow.
Yeah.
2 different things. Let's talk about being Tejano. Tejano.
Tejano. Tejanex.
Tejanex. Is that a thing? Texans don't really do Tejanex.
Some do.
Really?
Yeah.
It's Latinx, but I've never heard of Tejanex.
I've heard
That's
some.
new. I like it.
I know.
New to me.
We made up a new word. No, I'm just kidding. Growing up in Texas, it never really occurred to me that I was Tejana. I was just always me.
Mm-hmm.
It was just I grew up with a bunch of kids that looked like me. I knew I was Mexican.
Yeah.
And there was no other thought to it rather than this is just who I am. And it wasn't until I left my small town, moved to Austin, moved to Iowa, moved here, where Tejana and that word really I discovered it. Yeah, just because in my brain I was just me. But
Yeah.
I guess in places that are more predominantly white, there is a lot. There's a little Mexican community. It makes sense that you hone onto that. For me, Tejana is just simply being myself.
Yeah.
It's in white spaces. It's a badge, a medal of yeah, this is who I can am. But when I go home, I'm just that's
You
me.
exist,
That's
yeah.
me.
We blend in. Well,
we're here.
Yeah.
We're here. We're here. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I definitely get that. For me, I never had to think about being Mexican enough or white enough, because I grew up in the blend of both cultures. When I moved up here, I didn't want to be perceived as just white because I'm not. I want to I want my Mexican to be there. I want my Tejano to be there.
Yeah.
And so I always made it clear I am Mexican. I am Tejano. And it wasn't until these last few years where I've been working with a lot of Mexicans in my catering industry. There's always Mexicans. Service industry, restaurant industry, there's Mexicans everywhere. But I never feel Mexican enough when I'm with Mexicans because they're you're not from Mexico. You're not Mexican.
You don't speak Spanish.
Yeah.
It's the Selena quote. It's You're not Mexican enough for the Mexicans, but you're not American enough for the Americans. Yeah, I feel you.
But you know what we are? We're Tejano enough.
We're Tejano enough. That's what I'm saying. Like, I never really had to, like, think about it.
Yeah.
Because it was just who I am. And it wasn't until I went in those, like, white dominant spaces where it's like, you aren't enough for us on this side, but, like, I also kind of didn't fit in on the other side because I came from, like, my parents didn't teach us Spanish. Like, they grew up in a time where you got killed or you got hurt for speaking Spanish. Like, my dad, literally when he was up north, like, picking and stuff like that. For the people who don't know, like, up north is where, like, a lot of, like, Mexican, like, Latinos, not everyone. Like, we know white people don't do that shit, even though they say they can steal in our jobs, please.
My Grandma Lupi, she went to the east and she picked too. She picked cotton and she did strawberries, I want to say, as well.
My dad did cucumbers. But yeah, like, but you're in those, like, white dominated spaces, and my dad, he went to the grocery store one day and, like, he was talking in Spanish to one of his friends, and they were both talking in Spanish, and, like, the manager and, like, the cashier were like, if you don't can stop, we're gonna kill you.
That's crazy.
So it's, like, embedded in this, like, assimilation of, like, my kids are, like, not going to have as many opportunities. And, like, of course, Mexican parents and, like, Latino parents, they want you to have as many opportunities as you can. So, like, their version of it was, like, not teaching us Spanish. So that's where I felt like I wasn't enough on the Mexican side because I didn't know Spanish. I was like, I don't know, like, Tejano is just like a different, like, subset of Mexican culture. It's like, again, it's Tex-Mex. It's like white culture and Mexican culture combined, but sometimes it could be, like, really toxic in, like, the Mexican culture wants to become the white culture. And I feel like that was the line that we were, like growing up, that I was, like, balancing, because, like, I did want to grow up wanting to be white because it was Texas. Everything was white culture, but also Mexican culture. And you grew up not knowing Spanish and wanting to be that. So the fact that I wasn't able to get into the white dominated spaces because they saw me as the token Latina, or the Mexican dominated spaces, yes, they accepted me, but I think it was a me thing of being, well, I don't know Spanish and I can't get as close with them as I want to. Yeah. So it's kind of, I was always riding the line between this side or this side, and especially when I left my hometown. And it took me a long while to just be, like, accepting, like, I'm in this medium. I'm in this, like, I call it a gap. The gap is, like, what I like to refer to, like, as all the kids who were taught not to speak Spanish, but yet we come into this world where everyone's waking up and being like, that's not okay. But we're faced with all the consequences of, like, not knowing Spanish. So I feel like I'm in this process of accepting that I'm in the gap. Trying to learn a language when you are in adult years, trying to do adult things, trying to survive, is the hardest thing on earth. But trying to learn that side of myself, because as much as I am from Texas, I am also a Latina. And I grew up with broken Spanish and slang Spanish, and believe me, I know bad words in Spanish. I know that shit off the top of my tongue. But yeah, growing up Tejana, it was very much nothing that I had to think about until I got into spaces which made me think about it. Yeah, you get me?
I do. I totally get you.
It was just like, that's just who I am, and now I'm uncovering a deeper layer of what Tejana means and what this line is for me.
Yeah, totally. I feel like you are uncovering and discovering so much deeper than I am with the Tejana side of it all. I feel like during my formative years, I was so focused on the gay aspect of me and trying to figure all that out that I didn't really have time to process the Tejano side of it all, the Mexican side of it all. So it's not till these later years where I'm trying to uncover and discover that. And for me, with Spanish, I didn't learn that because I was raised by my white grandparents. And my grandma Lupe, I asked her if she could teach me Spanish, and she said, okay, manzana. And that's it. That's all she gave me. But no, same. One of my biggest goals is to be on novelas. And I feel like I have to get my Spanish. I obviously have to get my Spanish down. I know. Because it's necessary for novelas. It's a Spanish soap opera. Yeah. You know what I mean? But
or also just like roles today. Like roles like CW, like On My Block.
Yes, but there's so many, I feel like the world where it's at, no matter what the media shows, I feel like Latinos, Latinas, Black people, they're really gay people, the LGBTQIA community, they're very in media now. And I feel like it's very important for us to own those parts and those aspects of who we are.
And also, like, yes, we made that step, and it's a great step, but we also now, I don't know whose job it is, but we need to, like, now break down these categories, because there's not only one version of a Latino. There's not only one version of a Mexican, a Dominican, like a Salvadorian. There are so many layers. I feel like now we got into this spot where it's like, we accept everyone, but they have to fit in our mold of what we see them as, which is a Latina who speaks Spanish, who is sassy, who is on the edgy side.
Just like for gays too, like they want us to be the, oh my God, yes, queen, yes.
Which is, like, that's fine. There is someone out there who fits that mold, but we also need to expand it to, like, I like to think of it like as like a slime. Like, we we are so different. Like,
yes, and there's so many variations of all of these kind of identities. Like me, I feel like I have my moments where I'm like, yes, queen, but I also have moments where I'm like sweatpants, t-shirt, chilling, giving butch. But no, totally.
Yeah, same. It's like I'm like, yes, I speak in an accent at times, but sometimes I'll code switch without even knowing it sometimes in, like, those spaces or, like, during an audition. It'll come up randomly, and it'll just be, like, just because I do that, or, like, but that's, like, also, like, a part of myself. Like, I don't want you to be like, oh, she's not enough. She's not Latina enough. She doesn't have the accent and stuff like. But it's totally fine, because some people do, but we also have to make room for everybody in the category. Yeah.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah. And I feel like that also comes with time and letting go too, because there's a certain point in life that we get to and a certain age, because I hear people talk about it all the time. Like, once they hit their 30s, you stop caring, which I feel like there's some truth to that. Now that I'm pushing almost 30, I feel like I don't care. I don't care what anybody thinks of me. I'm going to show up to these auditions. I'm going to show up to these spaces. And as long as I'm being truthful to myself and to who I am and being the most confident, loving, caring, positive Aiden that I can be, that's all that matters. Take it or leave it. The ball's in your court, but I know how I'm showing up.
Yep. And I feel like that goes right back to, like, my question and my quote of being like, whose job is it? And I feel like it is our job to show up as authentically as ourselves. That's why I love that quote by Divine of just being like, for so long, I thought I needed to be this person. I thought I needed to be, like, when I was growing up, I thought I needed to be, like, this white little Southern country girl. When I got into college, I thought I had to be, like, this ultra Latina, spoke every lick of Spanish, like, never messed up, like, was the poster child for a Mexican Latina. And it's just like, it's our job now to show up in the world, and we have been doing it, of being like, this is me. I come from two sides of the same coin. Like, even though, like, both my parents are Mexicans, like, sadly, assimilation fucked all of us up. Assimilation has fucked a lot of people up. And it's just who I am. This is who I come with. This is the story I come with. Your story isn't the same as mine. But yeah, like,
we're both Tejanos.
We're both Tejanos. Yeah. And it's like, we don't need, like, at the end of the day, when we go back to Texas and we go back and we sit back and we drink a Big Red, we eat our barbacoa tacos, we eat that raspado that has every single fucking gusher in the world and, like, pickle in it, we just sit back and we just don't have to think about it. That's just who we are. We live and breathe our culture. And when we step in that room, we bring our culture in that room and we say, hello.
This is who we are.
This is who we are. And I will be performing the Shakespeare monologue.
The Raven himself is hoarse.
What do you miss most?
I feel like I don't miss a lot because I go home so often. But tacos. Being able to wake up in the morning and just get a taco, and for $3 feel full for the most of the day.
I love y'all, New Yorkers.
You don't got good tacos.
Y'all don't know what a tortilla is.
No, you use corn tortillas for everything.
Which is, like, yes, that is Mexican culture.
But it's not Tejano culture.
Tejano culture. These flour tortillas, if you buy them from the store, you better burn that shit.
You can smell them. You can smell the difference.
You can look at them and be like, that brown ain't supposed to look that brown. No.
Or that brown don't look brown enough.
Yes. Yes.
That's the problem I come into often.
Like, Trader Joe's is the only place I can find a decent, and I say that lightly, a decent tortilla, but honestly, sometimes I just have to make them on my own.
Yeah.
Like, I miss going to H-E-B and, like, the butter tortillas come out of like the dispenser.
Yes.
It packed warm barbacoa on Sunday.
I like the regular tortillas over the butter ones from HEB. Because the butter ones have a weird taste.
I need to leave. No, I'm just kidding.
They have a weird taste to me.
I can't. I do notice that. I do notice some weird taste.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Sorry, HEB.
HEB, hit us up for a commercial.
Yes, you're perfect, HEB.
Yes, you're amazing. The best made pickles. Y'all don't know.
I have my jar.
Y'all don't know about pickles. Y'all don't know about pickles.
Up north doesn't know about so much food when it comes to Texas.
This,
Lucas.
Beer salt.
Yes.
I say beer salt and everyone's like, what? What is that? It's like, do you know what a dressed beer is? They're like, what's a dressed beer? Go look it up. Go try it. Order it at your bar if they have chamoy and this salt. If they don't, bring your own and tell them, here, make it. Mm-hmm. It'll change your life. Because
I'm not a big beer person.
Me either. But like, if I have to, drinking beer with this makes it a little bit better.
Fair enough.
I've never done it.
But even looking at the bottle, I'm salivating.
Right? Or like, y'all, like,
there's snacks that pickles we have that they don't
pickles
have
aren't
here.
Pickles aren't shit here. Like, have you ever had a sour pickle?
Of course.
A sour, like, I don't hear, it's only kosher and dill here. And it's like, y'all need to take risk. Y'all need to take risk. Y'all need to fuck your tongue up.
In Texas, they sell pickles at the movie theaters. Here, they don't.
Bro, when I left, like, even when I went to Austin, like, they didn't sell pickles at the movie theater.
They don't do that in Austin?
I don't think so.
That's crazy. In Seguin, they do.
But, like, you go to, like, those places, like, small towns, or, like, the closest movie theater to us was Uvalde, Texas. Mm-hmm. And we went to their theater, and they would always have jars and jars of pickles. Or, like, Eagle Pass, we would always have pickles. It's
the
like,
big jars, too.
The big. I even hate it when they come in the packets.
Oh, no. Like, I hate the packets.
No,
I don't eat those.
You have to get the tongs and put it in a little Ziploc.
A little gas station.
Or a chamoy gas station pickle. But even at baseball games, they would have that.
Yes, or hot Cheetos with cheese.
Yes. Like, it would... Like, you know Shakespeare in the Park?
Yes. For those of you who aren't from New York or haven't been here, Shakespeare in the Park is like a free outdoor theater space where you can go see Shakespeare show.
And it's also like everywhere. Mostly every state does them, like Atlanta, Texas, Iowa.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. I did not know
There's
that.
There's a bunch of Shakespeares in the park.
Okay, cool. Do they have them in Austin?
They have them in Austin.
Oh.
But there was this, I remember I went to one space for Shakespeare in the Park. And in my mind, I was like, why aren't there more like butts in this seat? Mm-hmm. Which is, we can get into Shakespeare later. But the first thing y'all got to start with is snacks. Mm-hmm. Like, yes, it's great to have draft beers and IPAs, and that's great.
For the people who want that.
Yes. But also, the people where I was watching it at, there was a lot of Latinos, and I was, well, let's have some hot Cheetos and cheese. Let's have some Frito pie. It's a Shakespeare in the Park. It's going to be dirty. Yeah. Might as well have, like, good food while we're there.
Honestly. And I feel like Texans know how to handle that kind of situation when it comes to eating in the park, eating with your hands. It's an experience. You're not there just for the delicious snacks.
No, I'm just thinking to myself, when is the last time I went to a softball or a baseball game because I wanted to watch them play? Probably like a long ass time ago. But majority of the time, I was there with my $1.50, getting a pickle, getting a raspa, getting a pickle juice raspa with a pickle, with a lollipop, and putting it in the pickle. Like, you want more people in your seats? You gotta have the snacks that get them in the seats. Food is the way to someone's heart. So I'm telling you, Shakespeare in the Park, anywhere you're at in the, country, in the States, you gotta up your snack game. You have to. That's the way you're gonna get people in those seats. Because yes, Shakespeare, we'll get to it in a little bit. But if you have the right snacks, they will come. And
that brings me to a point of two. This ties back in with being Tejano, being Mexican. Yeah. Food makes me feel more Tejano. Because I know how to make Mexican rice. I know how to make carne guisada. I know how to make homemade flour tortillas. I know how to do these things. That makes me feel more confident with my Latino self.
And I also feel like our culture as Tejanos comes a lot from food.
So much from food.
Just because Tejano, we take so much from Texas and Mexican, and a lot of it ends up in food. A lot of it, breakfast tacos, Mexico doesn't really do breakfast tacos. But Texas really doesn't, white Texas really doesn't do it either. Yeah. It's us down south over here.
But I feel like those South Central down white people who live in those areas.
830.
Are you 830 too?
Yeah, 830.
You're 830 too?
Yes?
That's crazy.
Wait, are you 830?
Yeah.
Really?
I'm 830. That's crazy. I didn't know you were 830 too.
Yes, I'm 830. I think 830 is like all the way up to... Are you past San Antonio or by San Antonio?
I'm by. I'm like 30 minutes away from San Antonio.
Like
40.
crazy.
We say dirty 830.
Dirty 830.
Yes.
I heard of that. We just say 830. Now we're... Oh my god, 830 gang. Because I know a lot of like 956 gangs.
I know 212s.
With the Valley. I think it's 956. Please don't come for me, Valley. I don't know your area codes.
Well, I know mine.
512 is
512.
awesome.
512.
But we need some more 830s. We need some more 830s.
That's crazy. I did not know you were 830.
Yes, of course I'm 830.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, food, amazing. I miss it so much. That's one of the biggest reasons I love going back. So sorry to my family and friends, but the food is really what keeps me coming back.
Raspas. Can we just talk about raspas for a minute? I feel like that just needs a moment of silence.
There was one point in Seguin where we had 4 or 5 raspa shops.
No way.
Yes.
We call them raspa stands.
We had 2 raspa stands, but we had like 3 that had stores. Like you could go into a door, and then 2 of them were like these red little wagons things that they park in these areas. The best. I love it. Right? And then also, can we talk about how many Mexican restaurants per town in Texas? I have like 6 or 7 in my town. I
feel like
probably more.
Anytime it's so much there. Like anytime like there'd be like an Italian restaurant, all of us would go.
Yeah, no, there's Giuseppe in our hometown.
Yeah, there's just rice and beans and tacos, but you don't see us complaining. And we have fast food.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course. I have 2 Dairy Queens, 2 Sonics.
Oh, I have to drive 15 minutes to go to a Sonic.
Crazy. Seguin, we have almost everything. We're getting a Chick-fil-A soon, which we've never...
You know you leveled up. You know a Textown leveled up when they have a Whataburger or a Chick-fil-A.
Or a Starbucks.
Or a Starbucks.
We got our Starbucks in 2015. Mm-hmm. Like right when I was about to graduate. I think it was 2015. Maybe right before, but right when I was graduating. That's crazy. We don't have a Target.
I have to drive to San Antonio to go to a Target.
Do you have H-E-B and Walmart?
I have H-E-B. I have to drive 15 minutes to Carrizo Springs to go to a Walmart.
So our H-E-B and Walmart is literally down the road. Like, they're like 5 minutes away from each other.
Like the big places we have are Dairy Queen, Pizza Hut.
I just love the fact that food is so prominent for us and that it's just so tasty and nobody understands it. They think that these little Tex-Mex places are good, but they haven't been to Texas.
This ain't Texas. I feel you with the shops. Like we barely opened one up in the town over. And it's called Lou's. Lou's Sweet Treats. You got to go there if you're going to Carrizo, right by Crystal, but it's Carrizo, Texas. And they have like these monster creations. Like they have like the Hulk. It's called the Hulk. Like also these Tejanos, like they come up with the craziest skin raspados. Like it's insane. Like they have the Hulk, which is so the snow cone and it's lime juice. Also, I know you ain't from Texas. If you order a snow cone and say, "Can I have lime, please?" and they give the green sweet juice. Don't give me that. That's offensive. But it's the lime juice, and they put green chamoy, they put pickles, they put green coated chamoy gushers, and like the rainbow stuff, and it's all. And my mouth is watering.
That's crazy. So I'm not. We talked about this.
What?
I'm not a huge chamoy fan.
I will get the deal with the red. The red is for...
I haven't tried the green, actually. Yeah.
The green is better. The green is like sour. The red is kind of like...
It's like salty and...
It's salty and sweet, and I don't like it. I don't like the texture. But the green is better. I will say the green is better. The green's sour.
Yeah, I'll try the green. I will try it one day. I will.
Alamo Candy, sponsor us. Oh my god, you should do like an Alamo Candy like food review.
Or I don't know what that is.
Alamo Candy, that's
like the brand.
Like, have you seen on TikTok like the chamoy pickle kits?
Oh yeah.
That's like Alamo Candy is like...
I just hate chamoy, so every time I see chamoy, I just scroll past.
they like do like a lot of like different Mexican candies.
I believe it.
All right, anyway.
So Robin's favorite shop is La Playa in Seguin. They just opened up recently, and it's kind of similar. They have a lot. It's mostly ice cream based, but they have like classics like the nachos, hot Cheetos with cheese, all those kind of snacks. And it's like a store. It's like a whole store.
I love it.
It's cute. Yeah, H-E-B, Big Red, all these places
Big
that
Red.
we don't have up here, which is kind of frustrating. But Bluebell, I love me some Bluebell.
I was never really like a fan of Bluebell.
You weren't a Bluebell girly?
No, I got like the H-E-B tubs.
Fair enough. I only got those birthday parties. We did those. I grew up.
Or the sherbet? The H-E-B sherbets.
Yeah,
those were so good. The lime.
My was the Bluebell. They had a banana pop growing up.
Yep.
The yellow
package. My sister would always get it.
That's mine. And then after the Bluebell had the freaking E. coli breakout in the factory, they stopped selling the banana ones. And it irks me. Bluebell, bring back your banana pop. I collect myself. Okay, so now I want to move into the topic of like your evolution to New York. I know you mentioned Iowa, you mentioned Austin. Talk me through briefly about each place and then how you inevitably ended up here in New York.
Okay. So growing up, I didn't have access to any of the arts. So barely, you know what one act play is.
Yeah, of course. I completed
UIL. So we had like maybe one or two of those, and then like literally. The theater teacher left before I got there, or maybe she was there for 1 year, never took a theater class, like...
She didn't?
Huh? No, me.
Oh,
me.
Okay.
But like...
I was going to say, your theater teacher didn't take a theater class?
No, she was good, but I just never took one with her, because I wasn't like... I was still a freshman, and I had to take all like my requirements, like science and stuff like that, to take the electives. And plus I was doing dual credit, and it was just a lot.
Yeah.
So I was never really, like, except... 1 or 2 UIL plays. Like, I was never really in the arts, but I knew I wanted to do it. Like, every time I would, like, dance or sing, I was like, there's something about it that I love. Like, I would take ballet folklorico classes. Girl was always in the front doing her flips and shit. So, I just knew I was never involved in that world, but I always knew there was something calling me to it. Like, loved American Idol, loved seeing stuff on stage, like Hairspray, all that stuff, like, seeing it, like when I watched the movies, I was just like, I want to be there. Like there's this one, like we went to the Magic Theater in San Antonio. Yeah. Literally every field trip a Texas school goes, but we saw Charlotte's Web, and I was like, I want to like be on there. I want to be on that stage. There's something about it that's drawing me, but I can never pinpoint it. And then I was like, I got accepted into the University of Texas at Austin, an undeclared major. Because, like, I wasn't the best at my sciences and maths.
Oh, me neither.
Wasn't the best.
I wasn't even good at English.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not even kidding.
I was like, I took AP English, and I was like, it just clicked. I don't know. I was really bad at math, though. Really bad. My mom took me to a summer camp and to do algebra in order to get me into the algebra classes. Yeah, my mom was very much like, you're going to be STEM related. Yeah, she wanted me to, like every Latino parent, she wanted me to do the doctor stuff or STEM stuff to get money.
It sounds like every brown parent.
Literally every brown parent, but I didn't follow that path. So I went there undeclared, undecided. What was funny is I told my parents that I was in the theater program, but I didn't audition, so I wasn't. And they showed up to orientation, and they're like, our daughter's in the theater program. And they're like, no, she's undeclared. And they're like, what? But they didn't care because financial aid was paying for my school. And they were just like, so I would pass by the school all the time, and like I would go in, literally I would step in the building, get really nervous, and then walk out and leave. But I did all like the requirements and all that stuff, and then in like my second semester of my freshman year, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna audition. So I walked into because I was taking an intro to theater class for one of my recs, and I walked into Andrew Carlson's office. He is also like a very big Shakespeare person. I walked into his office and I was like, hey, I want to audition for this program. I knew nothing about acting. One of the most boldest things I've ever did, he told me to write my own 2 monologues. I wrote 2 monologues for my audition. I know, your face, like that.
Write your own 2 monologues
yes.
As a person who's never done acting before is crazy.
It's crazy. Also in like the acting world, like writing your own monologues, like that's bold. That's bold. But I didn't know any better. Ignorance is bliss. So I was like, you know what, I'm going to go in there. But I also had a backup. I was like, I'm also like interview for the theater education program.
Yeah.
So I auditioned for that, for the acting program and the theater education program. Didn't get into the acting. Oh well. Got into the theater for youth and communities program. Thank you, my professor Sarah. I love her. She is the one that convinced me to go to grad school. And I secretly took all the acting classes. Like, all the classes that I could take for acting, I took. Like, I took the Theater for Youth and Communities program, but I also took the acting program, and I was like, this is what I want to do. I love doing this. Like, I love, like, being on stage and, like, saying words that, like, basically I learned about this later, but it was, like, you're always told as a Latina or a woman to, like, not lash out, not do this. Like, you can't have big emotions. But in that space, I could have every emotion under the sun, and it was, like, so cathartic. And, like, also, like, I felt like, I don't know, there's just something, like, energy, like, going back and forth. And I was like, this is awesome. This is amazing. I can let out everything, and you can give me something back, and then we can exchange energy. It was so fun. So did that. COVID happened when I was in school. I graduated 2021. But randomly, because, like, I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do in Austin. I don't even know what an agent is. Like, I was like a baby coming into this. Like, I didn't know what an agent was. I didn't know what these things were. And, like, I wasn't prepared. Like, I never really thought about grad school, but might as well, sure. Like, maybe it's like a safety for whatever. Like, the more I, like, got into it, the more I was like, for what I want to do and the caliber that I want to do it at, like, I'm aiming, like, an Oscar. Like, I want to be, like, up with Viola Davis, like, a Frances McDormand, like, those powerhouses.
You want to be one of the greats.
My God. But like, I was like, for the work that I want to do and the place where I want to be at and, like, where my dreams lie, I was like, I need to go to grad school. Yeah. So I applied to grad school, the University of Iowa, Paul Kalina. He was like, hey, like, we like you, let's interview you. And, like, I originally was not going to go. Yeah. Like, I was like, I don't know, it's Iowa, what the hell am I going to do in Iowa? Like, this is weird. And, like, yes, they're going to pay for my school, but what am I going to do there? And then it kind of was just, like, he kept calling me, and, like, he was like, so have you made a decision? Did you make something yet? And then I was finally like, you know what? Fine. I'll do it. Let's go. So
that's awesome.
I went, and honestly, I was like, the first day I got there, I was like, I'm going to give it, my delusional brain was like, I'm going to give it a month. I'm going to give grad school a month. And thinking that I was like, this, I have the power to be like, no, I'm leaving, which I did. Yeah. I did, but it was, like, delusional to be like, I'm going to give this huge grad program a month. Like, even though I moved all my stuff over there and stuff like that. So I'm there, and honestly, it's what I needed at the time. Like, they ripped me open and spit me out in many ways possible. Some of it not the best with every acting program.
The abusive theater teachers.
Yeah, but the stuff that I did learn was so important to what I wanted to do. Like, I felt like myself grow as a person and grow as an actor. Like, there was stuff that I discovered, like my assimilation story. I discovered that there. I discovered, like, who I was in terms of Latina and assimilation and Mexican and all that stuff. And, like, just growing as an actor and, like, coming in and being like, I don't even know what goat is. And then being like, well, here's a worksheet. Like, you work on it before you come in. And, like, yes, it was tough, like the toughest thing I've ever done in my entire life. But it was the most rewarding because I can see the results now. Like, and also the fact that they took a chance on me, like someone who only did one play, one, maybe two in high school, one in college, and, like, ensemble in college, and, like...
But you proved yourself with college, though. You had 4 years of acting.
Yes, and that... But it was just, like, for where I wanted to go. Just, like... They only had, like, acting 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
It was very, like, BFA and BA program. I was in the BA kind of technically program. Yeah. But, like, I knew for what the caliber that I wanted to be at, I was like, I need that training. I need that in-depth, like, spit me out training of, like, techniques. Like, I didn't even know what a technique was until I got to, like, grad school and stuff like that. And so was there and, like, did my thing, did my stuff. It was so fun. Learned a bunch of things. Met a bunch of, like, fun people that I'll keep best friends my whole life. And
at what point did you decide to come to New York?
So I always knew that I wanted to go to New York, but it was that fact of, like, oh, I'm so scared to go because, like, this makes what makes it real. This is real. But towards the end of my grad school year, I realized I didn't have enough money to go to New York, that I was going to have to stay a little bit and work a little bit and before I decided to move here. But luckily, my mentor, Mary Beth Easley, she let me know that I got a postgraduate fellowship to move to New York.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
what is a postgraduate fellowship?
So a postgraduate fellowship, it's basically like a person or the school. For me, it was a person. It was a couple. They give money. It's like a scholarship.
A grant?
They give you, a grant. It's more of like a scholarship.
Fair enough.
To go study somewhere or like do something.
Mm-hmm.
And they give you money, they fund you and stuff like that. So for me, my postgraduate fellowship was working with Intar Theater here in New York, and I work on their archives, and like I basically see all the behind the scenes of what it takes to make a show.
That's awesome.
And like basically paying me to live and breathe here and like find my footing on the ground. So that was really, really, really awesome.
That is so amazing. I've never even heard of that before.
I know, me either.
Like ever.
Me either. So they were just like, like Paul Kalina, my teacher, and Mary Beth Easley, like it was so funny the way they did it, because they weren't going to tell me until like I think a month. It was probably like June or July. And they got on the Zoom with me, and they were just like, oh, when are you thinking of leaving and stuff like that to New York? And I was like, I think I might have to stay for a couple months. And they were just like, okay, we're going to tell you, like, you got this. Like, we put you in the thing, and you got the grant. And I didn't even know. It was like a total surprise. And I was just like, what the fuck? So that's what really pushed me to New York. And I came here in September, and I've been here ever since. And yeah, it's been a adjustment. It's been a dream, but an adjustment, I will say that.
So your first 6 months, give me like a brief little breakdown of like how it's been for you.
Breakdown. Can we just emphasize the word breakdown?
Oh, yeah.
Breakdown. Every single day I was breaking down.
Well, that ties us into the like, I know this last week has been rough for you, this last few weeks, because of the loss of your aunt.
Yeah.
And I know what that's like, moving up here and losing people that you love and not being home for it all. I know that's not a fun feeling at all. I had been up here for 5.5, 6 years at that point when Mom passed. But I had already lost my grandma. I lost my childhood cat, which that's a big deal. Some people think that's not that big of a deal, but that's a big deal. It's a family member at that point. She's been with us for 16, 17, I think she was 18 years. But it sets me up, and it makes it a little bit easier.
Yeah.
But it's never okay.
Yeah, I will say it is, at least for me, it's harder in the beginning, just because there's so much you're already getting adjusted to.
That's
and
fair.
having
I didn't
to
even
stay
think about
for.
that.
Like, you're having to stay, like, which I'm grateful for. Like, you're having to stay for a job, and like you're barely a part of this job. And like, this is not like at Intar at all. It's like probably like my other jobs that I have, of being like, I'm barely there, and like it feels like an adjustment where like you're still getting to know and like introduce yourself to this company
and to New York
and like deal with all these stuff and like things and moving and like things not going this way and then feeling like, fuck, this happened. Like, and I also feel like acting is just so, that this industry is such a fucking sacrifice. There's so many like birthdays, anniversaries, deaths that I've had to miss because I'm here. And like, I don't want to say I'll regret it, but there is like a part of me that like does sink, knowing like I can't, like, whether it's money wise or like I have an audition, it just feels like trapped. But I'm hopeful that the more that I'm here and like the more I get control of this industry, the more I'll have control to be like, someone just passed. I'm not doing this today.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this today. And
you can already do that.
Yeah,
You have
that is true.
You have the whole right to do that,
Yeah.
because at the end of the day, your life comes first.
And that is true. It just feels like with this industry, it's easy for it to feel like we have control over you.
Have you heard Dolly Parton's song, Sacrifice?
No.
It's such a good song, and I really connect with it because it's relatable with our career and with our field and with us. You have to give up so much to be able to do what you want, and I highly suggest listening to it.
Like, a big sacrifice is like, I'm not with my fiance right now.
Oh yeah,
we just got engaged in July.
Congrats. That's really cool, actually.
Thank you. I thought it was pretty cool too.
Where's he from?
He's from Tennessee.
Oh, nice.
Yes, shout out.
Where'd y'all meet?
We met at Iowa. See, if I wouldn't have gone to Iowa, I wouldn't have met Nathan, which is like
So at least you got that out of
I
that.
know.
You got a lot of great things out of Iowa.
I got a lot of great things. Did it leave some scars? Yes, but I got really, really good things out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like the sacrifice of like having to leave everything you love in order to do something you love. It's like 2 pieces of a cake.
Yeah. I feel like our being in this industry and choosing this career is such a hard thing to do. Sometimes, like for me, it's always been like I've never wanted to do anything else. I've never had the inkling to do anything else until these last few years where I've gotten into social media and I've started creating my own pathway in this. But this feels like it correlates with acting. It's like synonymous with the industry, the entertainment industry. So it doesn't feel very far off from my dreams, from my goals. You know, I had the tumultuous childhood. I had a rough life growing up. I never really thought twice about leaving, and I was never scared to leave. When I left right after high school, I came to Jersey. I didn't blink an eye at it. Went there 2 years, ended up the first year I was gonna quit. I was like, I don't want to go back. I don't want to do it again. Like, I don't like that school. It was musical theater based. We had an abusive acting teacher as well. And for the people who don't know, abusive acting teacher for me qualifies as like someone who only says you're doing good if you're out there crying, and that you're only doing good if you're pulling from the saddest, most traumatic memories from your childhood or from your past or from your life. Like, it's there, they only say you're doing good when you're doing that. If you're out there and you're like doing a happy scene, or you're doing a scene where you're like just you, then they're like, you could do better. But then somebody goes and just cries and she's like, oh, you're amazing. Those are like abusive theater teachers to me. They're not good teachers.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. I ended up going back to the Fairleigh Dickinson the second year. A week before school started, I was like, I want to go back. And my mom, Shauna, she was like, okay, let's figure it out. And we called, and I got my FAFSA, I got everything figured out within a week, housing, everything. And I went back up there for that second year. And I did end up dropping out the third year because I just couldn't do it anymore. And all of my friends were dropping out, and it just wasn't it. And I ended up coming to Manhattan to do the New York Conservatory for Dramatic Arts. And I just have never really looked back at it. There are times when I regret not being home, but I also don't, because I know at the end of the day I'm choosing me, and I know that I'm following my dreams and I'm carving my path, and I know that it's going to work out. One way or another, it's going to work out. And thankfully, in my case with Mom Peggy, when I went home, 2020, I'm grateful for COVID. I know so many people lost so many important people, but I'm grateful for COVID because I got time with her that I would have never got. And that December coming into January, she sat me down and told me that she was passing away, that she had congestive heart failure, that she was dying. She told me what to do with her ring. She told me what to do with Grandma Mary's ring. She like really prepared me for her death.
That's nice.
She was a great mom, phenomenal mom. And so when I was up here and she passed away, was I distraught? Was I broken? Was I a wreck? Yes. But I have zero regrets with that, because I got my closure. My mom knew I loved her, and I knew that I was doing what I needed to do. I don't know how to phrase it or how to make it sound a little more nice about it, but I know I'm on the right track, and I've been on the right track, so I'm grateful for that.
Let's talk about Texas and the arts.
Yes.
I will say I'm a homebody. I'm a homebody. Yes. I know this is where like things can happen and like stuff like that, and I love it here. I love it. I love the community I'm starting to make here. Could I say that a couple months ago? No.
I mean, it takes time.
It does. But I will say I'm a homebody, and I wish, and like slowly it's coming, but I wish it would come fast enough, that there wasn't just California, New York, Chicago, Atlanta, maybe Dallas hubs. I wish it was equitable. Like we're talking about like actors equity and stuff like that. Why can't actors equity extend outside of those hubs?
Yeah.
Why can't we have like smaller theaters? Like,
but that also goes back to Texas. Like Texas is a right to work state, and where they're not really union friendly. They're not those kind of things. And AEA, SAG, they're all unions. And I don't know why these southern states are so scared of unions.
My thing is, it hurts the people that live there that want to do this stuff. Like, if you either block people from doing it or don't have the balls enough to do it and fight for it, you're missing out on all that beautiful talent that's there because they don't think they can do it.
Yeah.
Like, that's what pisses me off, because I'm like, if there was a world where I could go back to like even fucking like San Antonio, which I can go back to, but like Crystal, and be with my parents and like be there and be with them and like experience those family moments there and still get to do my job. $100 billion I would do that. But it's just like,
but that's not impossible, because it's going to take a lot of work, and it's going to take a
it's
lot of.
not. It's just people need to do it.
But yes, but I will say, like, once you get to a certain caliber in our industry as actors, and we're like names,
Yeah.
we will have the option, and we will.
That's I will say that's what I want to do.
We will have that option to be able to, like, when I get old, I want to buy a house in Texas, and I know that I will have the opportunities to still get to New York and to California and all over the world to perform and act and make money doing what I love. But that you just have to build it up, and I think that's the hardest part, and that's the unfortunate part, because people, like you were saying, she's talked about this several times. Last week in class she mentioned it. Today we talked about it a little bit. We went to brunch with our Unit 52. But you were mentioning how, like, some people just have it a little bit easier because they have access to these locations. They have New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Connecticut, New Yorkers. They have access to these opportunities that us Texans don't get. California, like the surrounding areas.
Anyone from like a small town.
Truly, yes, anyone from a small town, but
specifically Texas. Yeah,
we're talking about Texas.
Yeah,
but yeah, truly, anyone from a small town, that they don't get these opportunities. And financially, I don't know how your financial situation was growing up, but we weren't wealthy. We weren't wealthy. We survived.
I couldn't take acting classes. I couldn't go to San Antonio and get an agent.
Nope. I mean, I did get lucky with a lot of things, because like my great grandma was wealthy, and like they gave us school supplies. They like things like that. Or I got that award, the golden trophy, the one with the 2 masks up there, that's the reason I'm here, essentially. And that was free. Really? I did a junior acting camp, and that was so much fun for me, and they loved me, and they saw potential in me, and I got to go to big kid camp for free. And that was only like $70, but we couldn't do it. And I found out last summer that the director paid for my...
Yes, we need more people like that. We need more people like that to go to these spaces. Like, I will always love Shakespeare and Company in Lenox, Massachusetts. I applied for them. I couldn't afford it. I had like a scholarship for it. Thank God. The University of Iowa gave me a scholarship for it. Thank you, University of Iowa. But also, the director, Sheila, I'm blanking on her last name, but Sheila awarded me the BIPOC scholarship to go there. And it was on the last day, on the last second. And I remember the last class, I was saying bye to her, and she came up to me and she was like, I'm so glad we found enough money for you. And she told me that they didn't have enough when I applied, but they scrounged up all the money that they could so I can go there.
That's amazing.
That's the thing. We need more people like that. Like, yes, it's going to be slow. Like, I won't accept that yet. But it's a reality.
Unfortunately.
It's an unfortunate reality.
We could get lucky. We could get discovered tomorrow.
It's like, at one point, I know I'm going to get there. I'm going to get to that place. What I'm, I guess, advocating for is for the people that I left behind in that place.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that's what I want. I want more than anything, if, I will say, a quick side note. If you say hope or if, you're giving yourself a small chance of doubt. Never say it. So whenever you're like, I hope I get this, you say you know. But, you know. So once I get there, I'm just like, goal is like, yes, be there, but also go back. Honestly, like, build, like, schools.
Bring the people up with you, and too, yeah.
Because it's like, at the end of the day, no one should ever, and I say this with my whole chest, no one should ever not pursue a dream because they think they can't do it. Like, they think they can't, like because they don't financially or don't have enough resources. Like, I want to help that. I want to bring that ladder, because, like, I feel like personally in my heart, like, that's just so disheartening because that was me. I didn't think I can do this. I actually was going to be like a forensic psychologist, because I was like, it's crazy. I can't do acting. I didn't even know what that is. But it just breaks my heart that there's some people like that down there. Like, I'm so happy when I decided to do acting and stuff like that. I saw a lot of, like, my people I was in dance team with in lower grades, like, I saw them, like, one got a minor in dance and one, like, stuff that, like, no one would really, really do when they came from my hometown. But it's just like, I want more of that. I want someone to like have a dream to be an artist or like an actor, a dancer, a singer, whatever, and not feel like I can't do it because I don't know what that is. Like, we need artists to go back to their hometowns.
Hearing you talk about that, well, first things first,
Yeah.
I do go back to my hometown. I go home
Yes.
every summer to direct summer camp. I was in the camp when I was a kid. It's a rendition of that camp, pretty much. But I feel like it's so important, and I always try to, because I know how important the directors and the counselors were to me when I was in camp.
Yeah.
And so I try to be that for my campers, but also for the counselors, because a lot of them are high school. A lot of primarily the majority of our counselors are either campers who have grown out of camp and now are counselors. So we literally watch them grow up or grew up together, most of us. Or they're like high school students who are like never really did camp, but they're like high school theater kids.
Yeah.
But they want to pursue this in the real world. So I always try to have a moment with them or make it very clear that they always have access to me to ask me questions, because I need them to know the realities of this. Because yes, we have this dream, but there's so much that goes into this. So much that goes into this. And it's not easy. It's not easy. It's not impossible though.
But
it's not impossible.
Being there in those rooms makes it a little bit
more realistic,
easier for them.
Yeah.
Because it's like, I feel like
definitely makes it easier for them because we didn't have access.
Exactly.
I mean, we didn't have access.
We didn't, because it felt, at least for me.
I was gonna say, hearing your story and how you've had, like, how you've come up in your reality of it all, I am so grateful for Seguin, because I've had access to theater my whole life. I did church plays, I did community theater, I did high school, we did all of it, and I'm so inevitably grateful for that. Because there's so many people who don't get those options. And I don't even feel like that was enough in certain senses.
No, yeah. And that's the thing. When I say, like people from those small towns where I grew up in, and, like, people, like, in places where they don't have that, where y'all don't have that. And, like, it feels so, like, you're just beaten down by the world. It's like your zip code determines your circumstances. Like, in school, like, we only had, like, a CNA program, a wood shopping, welding, like basically like trade jobs and nursing was all we could really do, and like science. Like that's the only way you could get out of that town. It wasn't like art and stuff like that. They didn't really give a shit about it.
FFA.
But we kind of had that, not really. But like it was more like sports and stuff like that, and like it just.
Our sports weren't that great.
Yeah. I feel you. But it was like, it always, at least for me, it always felt like I had to prove myself in order to ask questions. Like I felt like I didn't have the privilege to ask questions yet.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, I have to learn before I step into those rooms and ask those questions, because I don't even know what questions to ask. But I feel like us being there, and like more artists being there and going back, like being that ladder to be like, you don't have to do this alone. You don't have to do this alone. Like I got a text the other day from this guy that I did my film with, White Knuckles, and he's this like wrestler, and he does referee and wrestling and stuff like that. It was his first film, and he was asking me about Actors Access and stuff like that, and I was telling him all about it and like how he should do it and stuff like that. And he messaged me like today or like yesterday, and he was like, thank you so much for seeing something in me that I don't really see in myself. And like that's what we need to realize as artists, is like there's so many places that like make artists feel like they aren't enough to be seen. They aren't enough to be seen. They aren't enough to be in that room.
It's the industry as a whole, too.
It's the industry as a whole. Unless you come from, like, NYU, Yale, which is, like, great schools, but unless you come from those, the industry's like, who are you? What do you do?
Juilliard.
Yeah. And it wasn't until I got here, and, like, I worked at, like, Intar, that, like, I remember hearing, like, one of my colleagues be like, I don't even look at the school. It's if you can act. If you can tell me a story, if you can be your unique self on stage. And I feel like that's the stuff they're not getting told back where I'm from, or like back in those small towns. It's always like, you have to have this and this credit and this credit and this credit and this. And at a certain point, you have to have some credits, but it's like at the end of the day, they just need your unique story to be up there on that stage. And you want to know what? This is not a hot take. This is a regular take, but we need more people who have lived life on screen.
Yeah.
I will say that, because me personally, like, I know I have not lived life enough, and I want to live it more, but, like, we have so many people who have not lived a life. Like,
I've loved too much.
Like you, like you see those like what was that film? It was with that like Mexican actress. She was indigenous.
Oh yes. The one that was in like black and white.
Yes. But she was just a regular actor, not a regular actor. She's a regular person.
Yeah.
She's a regular person. And I feel like we need that on stage because like
those stories are important.
The stories are important. There's also so many like Nepo babies that are out there that are like...
Yes, that brings me back to the point that you were talking about earlier that you've talked about a couple times, is like people having the access to these kind of opportunities so easy.
So easy.
And like, oh, their mom was this, their dad was that, X, Y, and Z.
And that's fine, but you just gotta acknowledge it.
Oh, fun fact, my great aunt was an actress in Hollywood. Yeah, but I have...
Nepo baby. No, I'm just kidding.
am. No.
It's awesome. And that's like...
But I get nothing out of it. I want to make that extra clear.
Yeah, and that's like never shame. Like, never shame. If you have that, that's fucking amazing. But just like be upfront about it. Don't try and be like, oh, yes.
Especially if you get ins. If you get
ins because of it, own that shit.
And
own that shit and also help people because you have so much privilege and you have so much power that the least you can do with it is go help some people get up here too.
Preach.
Because this world should not just be a platter for you people to stand on top of and look down at us clawing to get up there. So get your ass up and get that ladder and help us come up here.
She's not wrong.
I'm not wrong.
She's
I know I'm not.
Back.
Ask my fiance. I'm not wrong.
That was good. This is gonna be a clip.
This is gonna be a meme. Ask my fiance. I'm not wrong.
Okay, let's talk about the differences between Texas and New York a little bit because I've never talked about that before, and this is a separate video I want to make at some point. Maybe I'll include this and that. Maybe this will be part of this, but still, I love Texas, and for me, I feel like I stand out everywhere I go. Everywhere I go, no matter how hard I try or how hard I don't try, I stand out. And it's like...
As you should.
As I should. I should take up my space. But I will say some of the big differences for me are being gay in New York versus Texas. Very different. Very different.
Yep.
How I dress and it's interpreted is very different in New York versus Texas. How people look at me, the stares I get in New York versus Texas, very different. In New York, people are more so intrigued. They're inspired. They're, I think they think, maybe this is my own delulu, but I think they think, he's gorgeous. Like, let's keep going.
Like that one story you told me of that guy who was on the subway and he complimented your outfit.
Yes. There was this like homeless man and he was definitely LGBTQIA, but he was like, yes, love that outfit. And in Texas, sometimes I get it, but
it's
most of the time,
tias going.
The tias, but also the old white men. They're always like...
So we didn't have that in Crystal. We have like one old white man.
So Seguin, it's very 50-50. I feel like there's a lot of Latinos. There's a lot of white people.
White people own our businesses.
And there's a lot of mixed kids too. But like the side eyes, the stares, the comments, it's just very different in those regards. Like walking into HEB is like, I feel like I'm putting on a show and I'm not trying to. Yeah. Also, what ties into that too, after you've been here a while, you're going to realize when you go home how slow people walk in Texas.
You walk so fast. I'm still catching up.
Yes. Well,
I like to stroll. I like to stroll.
Because you still have Texas in you.
Like when we were walking over here, Aiden was like, shoom.
Yeah.
I was like, can I catch my breath from the stairs?
I've been here 10 years. I walk fast.
You got boots are made for walking.
And
I got boots are made for strolling.
Yeah, no. You'll get used to it at some point, but then you're going to see. You're going to see. Because Robin at first, she hated how fast I walked. And I was like, Robin, this is how we walk here. Come on, keep it up. Places to be, people to see.
Yeah.
But now she goes back home and that's her first complaint. It's like people walk so fucking slow. In HEB, people walk. And now I'm like, and I'm in and out. You're going to realize that. That's one of my other things that are very different from between there and here.
Well, maybe not, what's it called? Not trying to dampen your parade or anything. But I think that's so, like, it's such a cool difference of, like, New York is, like, very fast-paced. You get where you're going. You do your things you need to do. Yeah. Mm-hmm. In Texas, I love the slowness just because it, like, gives you time to take everything in. Can they be a little slow on taking everything in? Yes. Yeah. But they take that time to be like, I think that's so beautiful, taking that time to be like, let me look at this box of cereal. Or let me look outside. I haven't even looked outside. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. And I agree to a certain extent.
But yes, they can be
I'm
slow.
shopping.
They can be
Not
slow.
when I'm shopping.
They can be slow when you need something. But yeah. No, that's a big difference.
That's another one for me.
Texas.
Yeah.
I will say, like,
food, like we talked about previously. So different. So different, and you cannot find our food up here.
I feel like me as a woman, like I had some 2016 bold choices, like lip colors and stuff like that, experimenting with like what clothes I wanted to wear and stuff like that. And I will say, in small town Texas, you get a lot of like, ew, or like, what are you wearing? Or like Tejana, it's like they want you to dress like a Southern belle. Like so many, which I love. I love those dresses. They're so cute with boots. But it's like, or like those big like earrings, like
the turquoise ones.
Yes, I will say I love a good turquoise earring. I love a good turquoise earring.
You're Tejana.
I will say I'm Tejana to the fault where I love it. But also like even hoop earrings. Like here, everyone wears them. Everyone wears hoop earrings. But when I was in my small town, like hoop earrings equated you to like being like that as well, but also like low class.
Really?
Yeah. Where I was from, like it was like only like again with ties to assimilation. Yes. Sure, it's very much like the Texas like turquoise earrings or like the very like cutesy stuttery like earrings or like the very like Southern belle earrings were like those are the classy. Those people had money, and then hoops were like
come from the streets.
Yeah, that's what it felt like there. I remember when I put on like my first pair of hoops, like big hoops. Like, it was like in college.
Empowering.
It was empowering, but also I was still in Texas, so they still like called me like bigger the hoop, bigger the hoe, which yeah. But when I came here and was doing it, I blinked. Like it was me being like, oh my god, I'm wearing big earrings. But it was just like everyone was just like, yeah. Like I feel like Texas definitely needs to up their games on being like, come on, y'all need to let people in.
Accepting. Texas, I wish Texas was more accepting. I can relate with your whole clothing thing through Robin. Because that's one of her biggest obstacles. I can't wait for you to meet Robin one day. But that's one of the biggest obstacles is because how she dresses here is she just puts on clothes. She likes to wear crop tops. She likes to wear short shorts.
Wearing crop tops in a small town in Texas, oh my god.
The amount of stairs.
The amount of stairs,
from men, women, anybody.
Stairs should be a crime with the amount of stairs you're giving me just for showing my belly. Can we talk about having no bra on?
Here, everybody does it.
Everybody does it. Free the nip. Like, these bras hurt.
And there it's like...
que escandalosa, or que like cochina. Or like, they'll just say so much shit, and it's like, have you ever been able to breathe? Have you ever been able to breathe?
They haven't.
Have you ever had a Krispy Kreme?
Was it crispy? Yeah.
Yeah. It's very modesty. It's modesty in Texas. Like, it's very, like, modest, but they're forcing it on you. It's, like, very modest. You can't, like, spaghetti straps are even a little bit too much. Like,
it's crazy. It's crazy.
But here, it's, like, people go out with, like, pasties on their nipples, and they're like, hello, world.
And a thong.
And
like, those mega boots.
I will say, mwah, to all the girls who wear like jeans
and the gays,
like and the gays, and the non-binaries,
and the days
who wear jeans, and you can see like a cute little red thong or like a white thong.
I didn't even know where you're going with this, but
no bra. Like, oh my god, y'all inspire me. Y'all inspire me to not just wear basic pants and a black shirt out. Like, bitch, I want to shake my ass and look good doing
You want to wear some coochie cutters.
Oh my god. Or like even like partying in like San Antonio or like Austin, like it was very much like jeans, like you can't do anything. Like it was only like the gay bars where you could like really step it up and step it out. And even stepping it out was a crop top. But it's like here, it's like people be wearing latex suit, and people are just like, yeah, it's latex night, what about it? Like, bitch, I want to be on your level with the amount of, like, gagging you're giving me. You're gagging yourself and me.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of our podcast, or towards the end. I have 6 more questions for you. Okay. You can answer these fast, you can answer these slow. They're just some final questions to leave our viewers with. What's one childhood dream you've kept alive or secretly still want to chase?
This one.
Acting?
This one. Yeah.
Well, you're doing it.
I'm doing it. I'm keeping it alive.
You are keeping it alive.
I'm keeping it alive.
What's the most you moment you've ever had? Something that just screams your personality. The example I always give,
What do you give?
is I was at Sonic and I was ordering and I was like, can I do the chili cheese dog? And he was like, do you want 6-inch or a foot? And I was like, ooh, 6-inch. Let's not get crazy.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I feel like that's a very me
That's
moment.
a very you moment.
Yeah.
It's a you moment.
Or the modeling thing too, where I took the modeling job mid catering shift. That's a very me moment.
I think there's two. There's one where, when I'm with my fiance and there's Justin Bieber comes on in the car, or like any like old like song, and I'll just be dancing like that, just being like, I just need somebody to love. Like, see me busted up in the club. I feel like that's a part of me. But also, I feel like I'm always crying. Let me see. There's one time in clown class where I laughed, cried, and farted all at the same time.
But hey, it's clown class. What else should
for
you do?
context, we were playing a game, and I didn't want to play because I was so mad. I'll have like little like diva moments, but I didn't want to play this game, and like I purposely lost, and they made me like stand in front of everyone, and like it was part of the clown class, or I think I won by accident. I didn't want to win, and they made me stand there, and I was just crying, and they were laughing because it's clown class, and they're laughing at me cry, and then I'm getting mad, and then I'm laughing at them, and then I'm like, stop, because I need a fart, and then they hear it, and I'm just like mortified. So I feel like that's me. I cry, I laugh, and sometimes I fart.
But where else would you want to do it at? I feel like that's the perfect place to do it.
Oh, wait, there's one more. There's this time I was on, oh my God, this is also a time. There's a time I was riding back home from class with one of my friends, Orlando, and do you know like this technique where you use colors, where you're like, be red? Yeah. Well, we just did that, and I was thinking on the ride home, I was like, what color do I feel right now? And I was like, green, like blue and green. And he turns to me and he goes, turquoise? Yeah, green.
Turquoise.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. So
I can see that for you.
Right? You could see me laugh, cry, fart, green, and jammed Justin Bieber.
I can.
That is me.
I can.
Yeah.
If you could relive one magical moment from your life, what would it be?
I would relive my proposal every single day. That needs to be a separate video.
That's so cute.
That was the most magical day of my life.
That is so cute.
Even though I like kind of knew it was happening, I loved it.
That was my cousin's answer too.
Really?
When I interviewed her, it was her proposal.
He just went above and beyond.
It was a proposal or asking her out. I think either one. Same feeling.
Yes, we love good men.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
What's one thing that you'd want to be remembered for?
I want to be remembered for going back to small towns and giving opportunities to kids who don't have them. That's what I want to be remembered for.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one. What's a small moment or memory in your life that had a big impact on who you are today?
I'll say one, all the teachers who helped me along the way. At the end of every journey that I had, there's one teacher that always helped me go to the next one. Thank you, all teachers. Thank you. But there's one specific one with Paul Kalina, and I remember I was in his office, and we were talking about where I'm going next, and he said, for where you want to go, you need to go to New York, and I believe you can do what you want to do. He was like, I think you have what it takes to get there. You have it. And that has stuck with me, even on the bad days.
You do have it.
Thank you. And
you're welcome.
Yeah, I'm here because of all those people.
Amen.
Amen.
And then last one. Who in your life taught you the most about being true to yourself, and what did you learn?
Oh, I'm going to start crying. It was my aunt that passed away. She was just always herself. Always. No matter what. She was a rock-loving tia that just did not give a shit about anything ever, and was just the coolest person ever. And she just taught me to live life gorgeously and unapologetically.
As you should.
And yeah.
Tia, what was her name?
Cindy. Tia Cindy.
Tia Cindy.
She was awesome. She was awesome. But yeah.
I love that.
That girl knew how to live life. And she did, all the way to the end.
That's awesome. I love our people who really help bring us up and help make us us. Because, well, we really wouldn't be us without these amazing people.
No, we would not. No, we would not.
Well,
Yes.
thank you so much for being on this podcast.
Thank you for asking me.
I am so grateful. I feel like it's fun getting to know you in this different way, and it's fun getting to share you with the world.
It's fun making eye contact with you. I was so nervous in the beginning. I was like, I haven't made eye contact with someone for a long time. Like, I haven't prolonged eye contact and had a conversation with someone in a very long time.
Well, we're Texans. We're used to eye contact.
I know, but it was just like...
I feel like that's what we do. Right?
We do. But I feel like this world's missing it because we're always on our phones.
But also, New York,
everyone's
you
there.
have to keep to yourself too, because the crazies come out whenever you keep your eye contact. Have you experienced that yet?
Oh yeah, so many.
My first day here, I looked at somebody, smiled, and then they were like, "Can you help me with some money?" Literally, immediately. And it's like, babe, there are a lot of people in New York asking you for money. If I give money to everybody, then I'm not gonna have money, and I only have $3.
And then you're gonna ask me.
But yeah, no. I'm very grateful for this moment, and I
think
this is gonna be exciting. I think this is gonna be a really good episode.
It is. It's gonna be great.
We're about to film a little video for my YouTube channel, Scary Story Times with Kat. It's gonna be so fun. Like we mentioned earlier, she tells some great scary stories. I hope she has them ready.
I do.
Be sure to stay tuned for that. You could catch that on my YouTube channel. Is there anything you want to plug? Anything you want to talk about? Anything you want
to say? You get my drift. Keep following your dreams. Keep going strong. If you have any questions, at Kat_K15. And keep going, because one day we're going to be there. We are. We're going to be there.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, shout out to my family and shout out to my friends back home. Y'all are keeping it down. It's like that video, keeping it down, and I'll be keeping it up. All right, goodbye. Woo!
As always, thank you so much for watching this episode. And if this resonated with you, please feel free to share this with somebody that you know. Are there any Tejanas in New York that you know of? I'd love to connect with them. I'm so grateful for you guys for watching this, for supporting me, and for following me on this journey. And I'm so excited to see what's in store. Next week, I'm going to be talking about balancing your survival jobs, your acting jobs, your social life, and social media. It's a lot. So please keep an eye out for that one. That one's going to be a fun episode. I'm actually going to be wearing this exact same thing because I just recorded it. And there's going to be more interviews coming up soon. I already have a couple scheduled, and I am just so excited for this journey. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, the like, the follow. And if you're listening to this on a podcast platform, please leave me a comment. I want to know what's up. Until next time, I hope you have a wonderful week. Love you, mean it. Bye.